1 minute over, so I'm going to start early because you're not on CP time.
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
It's Mother Knows on 100.3 WRNB. I've got a powerful voice in politics, culture, and leadership, former Atlanta mayor, CNN commentator, and now author. Keisha Lance Bottoms is here talking about her new book, I'm Coming Up on a Rough Side of the Mountain. Let's get into it and welcome Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Oh, thank you. And your voice is much better than mine. So thank you for singing that.
Thank you so much for joining me, Keisha Lance Bottoms. I love you so much.
Oh, thank you. I love you too. I appreciate you.
The title alone is powerful. The rough side of the mountain. What does that rough side represent in your life?
Well, and you sang the tune. It was a song that many of us grew up with. For me, it was listening to it from my grandmother's kitchen as she cooked. And Aretha Franklin said it best. She said, the smooth side of the mountain doesn't give you anything to hold on to. It's the rough side that allows you to climb. And for me, it was coming to realize that all of the challenges and struggles that I faced and my family faced as I was growing up, that you don't wish hard times upon yourself. But as my grandmother used to say, it always works for your good. And for me, it was realizing that with every challenge, from watching my dad go to prison, watching my mom struggle, to my challenges with infertility and so many things that I write about in the book, that all those things have made me who I am. And I was not always as grateful to my family, because you get certain titles and we get to be professionals because of the sacrifices people made, and for me it was always feeling like I had to tuck away parts of myself. We become masterful at code switching professionally, but sometimes we do that personally too. Like, oh, well, mama, maybe you really don't understand. You've never sat in these rooms, or grandmama didn't finish high school. So it would, and coming to realize that age old wisdom that is poured into us, and the resilience from our people that allows us to be where we are, should never be hidden. It should never be tucked away. It should never be convenient for us to highlight who we are and where we came from. So this book really started off as a love letter to my family and to my community. And let me tell you, I've been blown away at how it has resonated with people, and that is all that I hope for.
Why was now the right time to tell your story?
I actually started writing this in 22 when I left the mayor's office. And then when I went to serve in the White House as senior advisor to the president, I had to go what we call pins down. I couldn't work on it. So I picked it back up after I left the White House in 23. And I, on any day, would not have scripted it to bump up against a campaign. In fact, when I started writing it, I wasn't in office, had no intention of ever running for office again. And I think because I was in that headspace, it gave me the freedom to talk about things and write things that I otherwise may have wondered if it was okay to go there and be that personal and be that open. And I believe it truly is divine, that it's coming out now. You know, Given where we are politically just across the country, people are they're looking for some encouragement. And I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe they're going to find it in this store. And I think they're going to see themselves. And if they don't see themselves, they're going to see somebody in their family or a friend. And it's my hope that in telling my story, that it just helps us all stand a little taller.
Was there ever a moment where you almost walked away from public life completely?
Oh, absolutely. When I left the mayor's office, I said it was a comma, not a period, meaning I didn't know if I would ever run for office again. But I knew that that season in my life, when I completed my term as mayor, I wanted, I was in some ways hashtag resting before it was a hashtag. I was traveling and I produced a show on Netflix and started working on my book and just doing these creative things that I'd never really had the opportunity to fully lean into. But when God has a calling on your life, it's difficult to run away from it.
Come on now, you better testify.
And the more comfortable I got, the more in some ways out of place I felt that I would, and it was a wonderful season of doing all these things, but it was, is this really what you should be doing now? Like they say, that thing that you would do for free is that thing that you've been called to do. Now I need checks to pay my bills, so I can't say I won't accept my checks on payday, but it was what is that thing that I know that I'm called to do? And for me, it's been about public service. So I know I'm in my rightful place at this moment.
You open up about challenges a lot of people never see. What was the hardest chapter for you to write?
Anytime I talk about my daddy, like it just, I mean, even talking to you now, it just makes me emotional. My daddy was a singer. His name was Major Lance. And I talked about his going to prison and his addiction and how it just upended our family. But I felt like I'd never gotten a chance to tell his story in its totality. He was just this wonderful father. He was a wonderful human being. He just happened to be an entertainer who gave Elton John his start in music, his professional start in music.
Wow.
Um, but it was, writing about the grace that I wish he had known I had for him, and the love and the appreciation that I had for him. And it's always difficult when I talk about him dying suddenly at 55 and just being so many things that I wish that I had said to him. And I say a lot of it in this book. So I'm teary-eyed now. It My daddy passed in 1994, and I still cry about him. My grandmother, I remember, would talk about her mother, who passed when my grandmother was late teens, early 20s. And at 80 years old, tears would still stream down her face when she talked about her mother because she missed her so much. So I understand that when you love somebody like that, that love never goes away. But it's never not emotional for me to talk about him.
You led Atlanta through some intense moments, Keisha Lance Bottoms, protests, pandemic. What did leadership teach you about yourself?
What it taught me is that so many things that I needed to lead were already within me. I just didn't know they were there. And the 2020 tested leaders across this country, tested all of us because we had never been faced with that in our lifetime. And what it showed me, and that is when I really, really began to appreciate the wisdom of my people. Like, you know what? They may not have had the blueprint, they may not have had the formal education and the titles, but they figured it out. They used some common sense, they relied on faith, and they made decisions based on what they thought to be the best decisions. And it's, just simply putting it was for me, it was leadership has also taught me that I really am enough. Like, period. I am enough, period. And I'm not called to be anybody else. I'm not called to lead like a white man in Oklahoma because God didn't create me that way. I'm not called to lead like the Hispanic woman in Philadelphia because that's not who God made me to be. He created me as this black woman and all that entails, and that is enough.
Amen. For anyone listening who feels like they're on their own rough side of the mountain right now, what do you want them to hear?
I want them to hear that we all have a story to tell. And there and whether we tell it to ourselves or say it out loud, it is who makes us who we are. And there's no shame in our stories. We fall down, we get back up. Bad things happen, but we're still standing. And I just want people to know that as you're climbing, whether you're climbing to be a better person or climbing for some professional achievement or whatever that climb is, don't forget to take all the pieces with you.
Before we wrap up, you've been mentioned in big political conversations. How do you respond to people who want to see you back in leadership?
Well, I'm running for governor of Georgia
Go
right now.
ahead, yes. Come on now.
Early voting starts in Georgia April 27th. And what's so special about this moment, I can trace my family to a plantation in Crawfordville, Georgia. So 5 generations later, I'm running for governor. So everybody knows somebody in Atlanta. So everybody knows somebody in Georgia. So just reach out to your people and ask them to show up and vote. And I would be honored if they would vote for me. And if people want to know more about my campaign, they can go to KeishaForGovernor.com.
Final questions. What do you want readers to feel when they finish this book, and where can people get the rough side of the mountain and tap in with you?
So it is now on sale. You can go to any major retailer if you're interested in supporting Black bookstores. There's a link in my IG bio at Keisha Bottoms. And I want people to read it. I want them to be inspired and I want them to share it with other people.
Thank you so much for your time. I have nothing but love for you. This was the cherry on top of my cake and my milkshake for the week. Much love to you. And when you come to Philly, look me up.
I will. I'm so glad to start my morning off with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Enjoy. And I'm reading. Okay.
All right.
Bye.